what do we know? How much do we know about each other? How truth is that truth is. Every human being is God's image. God is so deep, God is so hidden. Oh, we have the privilege to love each other. This is one of the most important teachings of the Holy Baal Shem Tov. What do you know about another human being? What do you know if they're holy or not? There's so many people who look to us to the course a little bit unholy. Please, I bless you. Don't ever judge, 'cause you'll never know. You'll never know.
City was he born? Berlin. Fred Shlomo would not have become a rabbi. What was his other choice?
Singer.
Tell you a story. One time with Shlomo in Lud, and we were Mr. Bev in Lud walking around. I said, Shlomo, I gotta buy you a shoko. So I bought Shlomo his first shoko b'sakit, and he looks at the little bag and he's like, so I take my bite and I start drinking it. And he looks at the bag and he's like, Zush, I don't know how to drink it. I said, Shlomo, just take a bite out of the little bag and start drinking. So he's like, Sushi, I don't know how to do it. So I bit the bag, I gave it to him, he's like, Sushi, I don't know how to drink it. Put it in your mouth and just drink it. So, why am I telling the story? I want to say, Shlomo was such a melech. He was so much malchut. You know, shoko is like the shutayam. Shlomo just could not get it together. One other quick story. Once I was dancing with Shlomo, Simchas Torah here in the Knesset, and Shlomo took my hand, and we were like, I felt like I was in Vienna doing the waltz. I felt like I was dancing with the king, and it was like unlike any other dance I've ever danced ever. I felt like Mamish was like not from this world.
איך קוראים לשיר הזה שלהם? איך השיר הזה שלכם במילים? איך קוראים לשיר הזה שאתם ניגנתם? אבל אפשר לשיר את זה בצורה כזאת.
מה שהרב שלמה היה אומר...
תקשיב, עכשיו אני אראה לך את הניקון, קרקוב ניגונט, אפשר לשיר אותו בצורה כזאת. עוד יישמע בערי יהודה ובחוצות ירושלים כל ששון וכל שמחה, כל חתן וכל כלה. עוד יישמע בערי יהודה המרחק בין הקבר שלו, לא יודע איזה חלקה זו, חשבתי לעצמי שאנשים פשוטים. בין פה יש חלקה של הרבנים, המרחק אולי 50 מטר. אם רבי שלמה קרליבך היה ממשיך בעולם התורה בישיבת לייקווד, יכול להיות הם קבעו בחלקה של הרבנים, של גדולי האומה, של גדולי היהדות. היום הוא בחור קבעו בחלקה, זה לא מתאים לדרגה שהוא יכל להיות. הסיבה שאני הגעתי היום לבית הקברות של קרליבך. לא בגלל שאני חסיד של קרליבך, אלא באתי מתוך סקרנות. למעשה, החסידים שלו לא מבינים את התוכן של השירים שלו, את העומק של השירים שלו, כי למעשה השירים שלו מבטאים את העדינות והרגישות של עולם הישיבות. והתלמידים שלו, כנראה בגלל שהמקור שלהם, הם גדלו ברחובות, הם לא גדלו בעולם הישיבות, אז הם תפסו את החיצון, את החיצוניות של השירים, לא את העומק.
שאלה אחת. בוא נגיד ככה, אבא שלי, אמא שלי, איפה שאני גר, קרוב המושב, 90% מהמושב, חזר בתשובה בזכות הרב שלמה. זאת אומרת, בלי הרב שלמה, איך שהוא היה, דבר ראשון, סמוך עליי, הרב שלמה, שהוא יודע מה הכישרונות שלו יותר ממך, נראה לי, נכון? ראית איזה אהבה יש לו? אם הוא היה נשאר עם האהבה הזה ונשאר כראש ישיבה, יכול להיות שאולי שאתה יכול להשתמש באהבה הזאת כדי לקרב יהודים אחרים. הוא היה אומר, טוב, תלמיד חכם ענק, תלמיד חכם. אבל נו, מה עם האנשים שצריכים לקרב את היהודים הפשוטים?
הבת שלי בשלהם. הייתה בת 4, עשינו לה יום הולדת, שלהם באה. אז היא הייתה כל כך מבסוטית, מהאנקל שלהם, כן.
מה, הוא בא ליום הולדת 4 שלו? היה לו זמן לדברים כאלה?
אתה רואה? הוא עשה זמן.
מתגעגע מאוד מאוד. כשהייתי בארץ, אז כל חודשיים, נוסע, נרים בטלפון, היה ויושב ביידיש. Lebst noch? Geht. Das wissen also man dankt auf dich.
שזה אומר?
אם אתה עדיין חי, טוב. תדע לך שחושבים עליך. כל מה שעשה, עשה לפתוח את הלבבות של אנשים אחד כלפי השני וכלפי עצמו. והוא הקריב את עצמו בשביל זה. היה לו לב, היה לו מוח, עילוי שבעילויים. כן? ידע לשמוע. מה שכן, היה קשה לו לתת למישהו הכוונה טוטלית, להגיד לפסק, ככה צריכים. רק במידה מועט מאוד הוא אמר את זה. הוא לא רצה להגיד לא. אנשים לא תפסו את מה ששלמה רצה לעשות. בגלל שהם לא האמינו שדרך ניגון יכולים לשנות דעה ויכולים לשנות כיוון בחיים. הוא הוכיח את זה.
כמה אור בן אדם אחד יש פה בעולם, אם הוא היה יודע מה חיוך קטן עושה פה לכולם. כמה אור בן אדם אחד יש פה בעולם, אם הוא היה יודע,
שוב ובוא השם, תבשל יסתו, גם
פה הדוב, פשיטות ותמימות. מה הוא רוצה לעשות כל החיים שלו? לאכול דבש. קדוש, איזה קדוש. זה צמוף. אני מרגיש רוח עילית שמנסה כאילו לחדור, אבל אני לא איתה עדיין, כי אני כאילו קצת שקוע בלי העולם הזה. אבל תכף זה יגיע לנו. פסטיבל כאילו בשלבי התחלה, מה שקורה לגבי סדרנים, אתה אחראי על הרכבים.
האמריקאים, הדתיים, מתחבר לכל החבר'ה של שלמה.
בסדר. מה קורה, יא מתוק אחד?
מה המצב?
לאן אתה צריך להגיע?
אני יודע. והוא נפטר לפני 10 שנים. ורק באורמר עשינו מסיבה גדולה. שהזמנו את כל החברים שלו המוזיקאים ועשינו קומפץ כזה גדול עם מלא נגנים.
אוקיי.
אבל תסתכל סגילים מעניין. אין מגבר. יטיב אומר עכשיו שאין.
למה? מגבר גיטרה, למי יש בלון שבות?
הבנו שזה משהו, שזה כזה עוצמה רצינית מוזיקה, שזה משהו שאי אפשר להשאיר אותו רק במשפחה, רק בחברים קרובים, שפשוט צריך להפיץ אותה לכולם.
יניב, תרים את שמו.
I was on my way back from Israel, and I had smuggled some hashish with me out of Israel. I was going to take it back to the States with me. So I have the hashish, and I'm staying for a few days at this little hotel on the left bank in Paris. And I meet these students there. They asked me where I was from, what I was doing. I told them I'd been in Israel for a year. And so the Moroccan said, oh, you know, what I really miss about the Middle East is I haven't had any hashish for a long time. There's no hashish here in Paris. I said, well, you know, I've got a little hashish with me. So he said, oh, man, I'll tell you what. I got something to trade you for the hashish. I said, okay, what do you got? So he pulls out some sugar cubes. They're just little white sugar cubes. I say, well, what's that? So he says, oh, this is LSD. You know, if you take LSD, there's certain ways to do it so that you have a good trip, but nobody had told me how to do that. So I'm wandering around the streets of Paris, and there's railroad trains coming at me and machine gunners. There's all these crazy things going on. But anyway, I wound up at the Cathedral of Notre Dame. God wanted to talk to me there at the Cathedral of Notre Dame. So I'm sitting in the courtyard, and I had this experience that I couldn't explain. And I couldn't tell where my body ended and where the next thing began. It was like the whole world was one. And afterwards, I was left with this feeling like, oh, okay, this is what they were talking about. This is God. God isn't the old man in the sky with a long white beard. God is the reality of the oneness of all being in the universe. So anyway, I came to San Francisco in the fall of 1965. Walking around the campus, and I hear this music. Samechem, samechem, samechem bevinyan shalom. Samechem, samechem, samechem bevinyan shalom. And I asked one of the other students, I said, what's going on? I said, oh, this is the singing rabbi. I said, the singing rabbi? I never heard of a singing rabbi. I heard of the singing nun. There was a singing nun on TV then, but the singing rabbi. So I walk over there, and there's this guy wearing a kippah and a beard and a vest, and he's playing a guitar, and everybody's dancing. And there's hundreds of students dancing. So a young woman that knew me saw me, grabbed me, said, come on, dance. I said, all right, I'll dance. It's the first time I ever danced like that. And so I'm standing there with my arms around people. And I noticed that I was having the same kind of experience that I had in Paris with LSD, where I couldn't tell where I ended and the next person began. It felt like the universe was one.
יום בהיר אחד, רבי שלמה קרליבך נסע לאדמו"ר מלובביץ'. האדמו"ר מלובביץ' זצ"ל אמר לו, לדעתי אתה מתבזבז בישיבה, יש לך נשמה גבוהה ואתה יכול לקרב יהודים ליהדות דרך שירה. הוא יכל להיות מגדולי ראשי הישיבות בארץ, בעולם. במקום להיות ראש ישיבה, הוא הלך להיות זמר. אז עבדתי
These 3 bags is okay?
Okay. No. Apple Kugel, not Strudel.
The biggest tragedy was that Shlomo was not teaching Torah to people. He was teaching only Bali Tshuva. He wasn't teaching people who were Bnei Yeshiva. He could have started a Tshuva movement in the Orthodox world, but he was never given the opportunity. For 2 years, the thought came to mind that if somebody learned Torah from Shlomo for 5 minutes, it's like they knew him all their lives. Because that's the depth with which Reb Shlomo taught Torah. When they got to that level, then they first began to know Reb Shlomo. I became an agnostic in 1953. I took my yarmulke off and I said, the next time I put on a yarmulke, it's going to be for God, not for people. In the 60s and 70s, a whole new bunch of mental health therapies came out. And people would work on inner things that are going on, and you often would be crying on the floor. And the people around you are making it more difficult. They're pushing you to be honest, and the group leader is doing the same thing. While I was doing that, I suddenly found out, or had an inner experience, that what I was doing there is what those in Lubavitch who were davening Barichas, they were doing this. Humanistic psychology and Chassidus are the same thing. What?
Were you studying here?
That's where I said.
Which year?
I left in 46 or 45. What? There's no other way of learning. We used to see Shlomo at Fabrengens. He would come from Lakewood with his brother Yechaim, but sometimes he wouldn't go back. Shlomo's father called my father and said to him, Herrot, Herrot. They knew each other very well in Crown Heights. And he said, my Schlaumala und meine Yechaim wieder von die Yeshiva gelaufen. So, meaning that they left Lakewood and they're hanging out in Lubavitch. He says, find them and send them back home. So my father went and looked for them, and he says, listen, you know, I know what it is to be a chassid who wants to be by his Rebbe, and I also went to be by my Rebbe, but nevertheless, you can't do it that your parents shouldn't know it, so you have to go back immediately. So they would bargain with him. They would say, one more day. See this? They said only if you sit and learn Gemara for 10 or 20 years will you be able to do this process. And the Baal Shem came and said, no, not only that, but we can teach somebody how to say Shema Yisrael. He may not even know how to daven. His nigunim have that koyach. What is the koyach? Each person who's singing that nigun is going to a special place within himself because of the mangina of Shlomo's nigun, or because Shlomo had such kavonas when he wrote the nigun. Because of the kavonas that he had, that's why it brings the people to where it brings them, and that's why they dance for a whole hour. People are not the Torah. The Torah makes people. And I think that the reason people loved him so much was not only his music, it's because he had so much love in him.
Tonight I'm doing a tish. A Yotza tish from Shlomo. Will be stories, toires, and singing, mostly singing. Shlomi, you're coming tonight. 10 o'clock, 9:30, or 10. I have the cakes already. Come.
There's going to be something big going on. It's meant for the Yeshiva crowd, like guys like me.
Yeah.
I'm from the Yeshiva guys.
So go?
So, no, but not only that.
305 West of
It's going to be about celebrating the Shlomo's life.
He called me, he goes, you know whose yard side is tonight? The first year. That was night. The first yard side. You know whose yard side? And we go, no. And the rest is history. We called each other with 12 people. We lit a couple of candles. Okay, perfect timing. Hello. Speaking to the Rebbe.
Oh, it's a great.
I didn't give him. He's a problem of Shlomo.
Holy brother. Holy brother. I need to get royalties on this. We signed the contract before anything. No. It's all a giveaway. Shlomo gave of himself to everyone. Told everyone how precious they are. He saw the beauty in everyone. He saw the song in everyone.
Did you get your car?
Shlomo used to say, you're so connected, yeah. Even if you think you're disconnected, you're so connected regardless. You're so connected. And it's so much more deeper than that. So, brothers and sisters, I want you to know how precious you are. Mamish, you're more than gold and silver. Gold went up today, broke a new 18-year high. It hit 1486. Yesterday went up $10, today went up $7. But your neshama goes up infinitely, every day, so much more. Because your innermost being needs no fixing. See, the center needs no fixing. The four walls, the roof, and the floor needs fixing. But then there's a place that needs no fixing, where you're so connected. I'll tell you about the positive, not about the negative.
Hello. Avumi, how are you? Itik. Tell me something. The croissants, you make or you buy?
Itzik is lo pashut. He came to America by stowing himself on a boat when he was 15 years old. He didn't tell you that story. And then how Shlomo took him in when he was a yeled, you know, and then helped him and mekarev him.
מרגש. עם מוזיקה טובה באמת.
איזה שאלה. כל זה המצאה של שלמה. הוא הוריד את האור לעולם, אחי. הזכיר לנו שהתורה הצבעונית, יפה, טובה. פעם הוא בא אלינו, בא בחלום, נתן לי חיבוק בחלום. אחרי... לא אמר כלום. העיניים שלו אמרו הכל, והחיבוק אמר הכל, אבל הוא לא אמר שום דבר. שלמה הזכיר לנו שכל זה לא מערכת חוקים, כן. עשית ככה, אתה צדיק, עשית ככה, אתה רשע. יעני, איך הוא מדבר, הוא כזה. איך הוא מתנהג, מי החברים שלו, זה הכל זה הלבושים של הבן אדם. אבל משהו חי פה בפנים, משהו מסתכל לנו מהעיניים, משהו חושב, מה זה פה? אנחנו גל עצמות ובשר מהלכים, יעני מה שנקרא סטייקים, אם אתה מדבר עם קניבליה, אז הוא יגיד לך איזה סטייקים מהלכים, יעני. פתאום משהו מסתכל לנו מהעיניים. מחשבה, הכל משהו נשמה עליונה בתוכנו. הוא אומר גם דבר כזה, הוא אומר אם אתה מסתכל על יהודי ואתה לא רואה, או לפחות לא מחפש אפילו, את הנקודה הזאת ששם הלב שלו שבור לגמרי, אז לא ראית אותו בכלל.
קשה. ירושלים היא עיר בלי רחמים. החלום שלי הוא להיות מסוגלת לחזור לירושלים ולהיות מי שאני בירושלים. מכיוון שזה רחוק מאוד, אני אסתפק בלחזור לירושלים ולהיות נהגת מונית. Reb Shlomo is the kind of person that if you're about to jump off a bridge and you have a dime in your pocket, then you'll use that dime to call Reb Shlomo. And you can be sure that he'll walk you off the bridge safely.
קיבלתי את זה מתנה ממשפחת ליכטנשטיין. נעשו ניסיונות נועזים כדי לנסות להבין אם יש אופציה ללבוש את זה. זה מפה. לא משמח להיות בגלות. משמח שיש לי שותפים לדרך. משמח שיש אנשים שמאמינים בי, ובמה שיש לי לומר, ובמה שיש לי לתת. ומוכנים להיות אמיצים במקומות שאנשים אחרים לא מוכנים להיות. די כואב, אבל זה מה יש.
So when I open a sefer and I don't understand something, I think that you've taught me the questions to ask. But when I walk the streets, I don't even know what questions to ask. And I was hoping that right now maybe you could teach us what questions to ask on the street. And how can we learn to walk the streets the way you walk the streets?
אני אומרת שאני הבן אדם היחיד שבא לארץ מזוודות ריקות ויוצא עם מזוודות מלאות. כי כל מה שאני צריכה לקיום שלי אני קונה פה. כן, כי אני צריכה לקנות ספרים, אני צריכה לקנות שמפו, ואני צריכה לקנות מסטיקים. אני צריכה שברגעים שאני לגמרי לבד, שאני אהיה כמה שיותר בבית.
Listen, Mimi, I tell you what. You are one of the people who really doesn't have to learn by me. Because Hashem, God gave you everything in your heart. The mamish don't need me. But since you asked me, let's assume you wouldn't know, then I would tell you. But you know anyway.
חלק ממני הרגיש שהוא לא רואה אותי, וחלק ממני הרגיש שהוא רואה אותי בצורה שאני לא רואה את עצמי.
You know, one of the things which I realized when I was in yeshiva, which is missing, there's a Torah b'shivtecha b'vesecha, when you sit at home, and then there's a Torah b'lechtecha b'derech, when you walk on the street, walk the way. While I was in yeshiva, the Torah b'shivtecha b'vesecha I learned. Gewaltig, I learned it. At that time, nobody taught me. We learned it a lot of times. This lifetime is most probably the heaviest lifetime we ever had. Don't know how many we had. According to our tradition, according to the Zohar, you come down 3-4 times. In emergency 5. But you know what, this lifetime, we re-meet all the people. We re-meet all the people from previous lifetimes. It's awesome. And when I walk on the street, I want so much, if there's anybody whom I'm supposed to meet, please don't let me pass this person by. And a lot of times it takes a lot of guts. It takes really courage. It takes courage to stop a person on the street and say, hey, who are you? Because it's crazy, right? Crazy.
I want to fast forward you. It was on Haight Street, and now it's the summer of 1967.
Lord, get me high, get me high, get me high. Lord, get me high, get me higher.
Shlomo used to love to walk down Haight Street. And you know, now it's pretty empty, but then if you can imagine, it was wall-to-wall people. And they had to make it a one-way street. It was going one way toward the park because there's so much traffic. And there were buses. And there were buses coming from all over the United States. And young people from all over the country had all different reasons to be here. Some wanted drugs, some wanted sex, some wanted rock and roll. So Shlomo, he would walk up to literally hundreds of kids, as he called them. He was hugging everybody. And every single person, he gave him his business card. And he said, look, you got to join us for Shabbos. Come to Ellie and Miriam's. You know, Ellie and Miriam, they could hold maybe 3 people in their place. You know, and there were like dozens and dozens of people that were starting to show up there. And one time, I said, Shlomo, this really isn't fair to Ellie and Miriam. You know, you're sending everybody. They don't have room. So he said, okay, we have to have a house, and we'll call it the House of Love and Prayer. And he said, the House of Love and Prayer is a place where when you walk in, somebody loves you. And when you walk out, somebody misses you.
Guests.
9?
Yeah.
We have...
Yeah, we have... Yeah, we put this table in the middle. We put all the chairs around it. Yeah. Every week it's a little crowded, but we love it.
You can approach the world from fear or from trust. If you approach the world from fear, you lock your doors, you don't want anybody in. But if you live with trust, then anybody that calls, I don't know who they are, but I assume they're nice people, and they come, and usually they're nice.
When I started to make challah, back in the old days in the House of Love and Prayer in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we used to make many, many, many challahs. Like the table was just full of challahs.
Yeah.
Because all those people that would come. That was my first holidays. I once went to a conference of diamond dealers in New York. And they said, Shlomo, we love you. You sing so beautifully. You teach so beautifully. But why do you associate with those strange, dirty people in the street? So he said, well, you know, when you first go to the mine and you dig up the diamonds, they're ugly and dirty. You have to polish them and make them shine. And that's what I do with all my friends that I meet. אני שהייתי על הבמה עם שלמה, הייתי שם את זה על הגב ככה. Shlomo loved the sound of this. He would think, wow, it's like heaven.
There was one Shabbos when Shlomo was there. Hundreds of people crowded into the prayer room. And I see there's a guy who walks into the room. So he stands there looking at us, and then he says, Rabbi Carlebach. And Shlomo's sort of startled. He's in the middle of singing something. He looks up and he says, what? The man says, Rabbi Carlebach. What is this? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. What's this, the boys and the girls together, touching each other? This is not Yiddishkeit. Why are you letting this happen here? So we all look at Shlomo. So Shlomo says, he looks at Irving Solomon, he looks at us, and he says to us, I want you all to meet Mamish, the sweetest Yid in the world. This is Irving Solomon. He's Mamish, the sweetest Yid. And then he looks at him and he says, my holy brother, let me tell you something. You know, you're right. We really should be paying more attention. But let me tell you something. Imagine that, God forbid, if there was a patient who had a heart attack. He was in the operating room. He needs surgery. His heart's about to give way. Imagine if the doctor comes in, looks at the person on the table and says, well, let me take a look at his toenails. We better start working on his toenails. Shlomo laughs, this is crazy, right? The person's dying, you gotta operate on his heart. Shlomo says, you know, we're losing a whole generation of our children. Their hearts are literally dying, they're disconnected. They have no Yiddishkeit, they have no connection to God, no connection to themselves, no connection to their souls. And what's the so-called Jewish establishment doing? It's trying to operate on their toenails.
Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya.
אם שלמה יש לו קונצרט בשמונה, הוא מתחיל לשיר ב9, זה שלמה טיים, הוא הגיע בשמונה, אבל בדרך הוא חיבק 200 אנשים, וכל אחד היה צחוק לחיבוק שלו, זה היה רפואה החיבוק שלו.
אתה מדבר הרבה על החיבוק, אולי תסביר לאנשים שלא יודעים מה זה חיבוק.
אז נסביר לך.
Kumbaya, someone is praying, my Lord. Kumbaya, someone is praying, my Lord. Kumbaya, oh Lord.
זה לוקח הרבה מאוד אומץ לבקש חיבוק, וזה לוקח הרבה מאוד אומץ לחבק. ומי שמסתכל על זה בצורה פתטית, זה בגלל שהוא במבוכה. והוא פוחד לבקש את זה לעצמו. להיות תלמידה של רב שלמה היה מסובך, כי אתה לא חי רק את החיים שלך. כי הפקידו בידיך פיקדון שהוא כבד. מה המחיר? המחיר הוא שאני יודעת שהאמת היא מעבר לעיניים שלי. המחיר הוא שאני דורשת מעצמי ומאנשים אחרים ומהקדוש ברוך הוא, את הטוטליות.
כן, והמחיר הוא שאין לך משפחה.
המחיר הוא שאין לי משפחה ביולוגית. תראה, מי שאני בעולם, התלמידים שלי חיים את זה, והם ממשיכים את זה, והם מקיימים את זה. אז אתה אומר לי שאין המשך ל-DNA שלי? את מי מעניין ה-DNA שלי? לא אותי. ומה שזה מאפשר לי, זה מאפשר לי לעבוד בהרבה מאוד מקומות. בהרבה אופנים שאילו היה לי משפחה לא הייתי מסוגלת. אז לומר שאין לי משפחה, זה נכון, אבל אולי זאת לא העבודה שלי.
Someone is crying, my Lord. Kumbaya.
מה את חושבת?
Someone is crying, my Lord. Kumbaya. Someone is crying, my Lord.
אני חושבת שזה שעה שכולם באים הביתה ואני עוזבת את הבית.
כששלמה התחיל עם כל העניין של ההיפים והכל, לחבק, לנשק ולהגיד שלום, שלמה נכנס לרבא, והרבא אמר, לא כן יעשה במקומנו. שלמה ענה, אם אני לא עושה את זה, אז אני מאבד את הכרטיס כניסה אליהם. אז הוא אמר לו, אם אתה לא רוצה, אתה שלמה קרלבך, לא לובביץ'.
If you said l'chaim to the Rebbe, and he would look at you and say l'chaim, when I would look at him, I would only think of the giving of the Torah on Sinai. Because his eyes were so burning, and I believe as each chassid said l'chaim, he must have had similar experiences. I don't know why this brings tears to my eyes, but it does. I believe that everybody who saw and drank l'chaim to those pairs of eyes never forgot it, and that it influenced their personal lives.
Around us is a hurricane, tremendous forces that want to, this deal here, this thing here, they want to rip us apart from all sides. But then when you get back to your center, innermost being, lech lecha. Shlomo used to teach lech lecha. Go into you, go into your neshama, go into yourself, into your inner self, your real self.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn.
What brings you here today?
These guys, they're doing a film on Shlomo Carlebach, and they wanted to know his unique. Where did he get his koiches from? And he was a Lubavitcher, so they went to do it here.
So come closer.
What?
We'll come more.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I see Shlomo Carlebach in Yerushalayim.
Yeah.
Topshin Chof Aleph.
Yeah.
In Ayeskem, I gehört, mit der rausgeworfen von Lubavitch.
Wow.
Tell him.
Yes? What's it gesagt?
Sagt mir, mit mir rausgeworfen, aber ich habe sich nicht rausgeworfen. Mit mir rausgeworfen, aber ich habe sich nicht rausgeworfen.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
Nobody taught me what you do when you walk on the street. The only thing I had the great privilege that I had a father who was a streetwalker. He told me he walked with my father on Broadway. And completely broken person, woman, rags. I'm sure if she would look in the mirror, she wouldn't even recognize herself. She walked up to my father and she says, "You really have God's image." So my father says to her, "You have God's image."
שנת תשנ"ב. ואני רואה אותו עומד על הבמה ומנגן את הלה מינור ומי מז'ור, וחוזר ומנגן שאם אני אקח את שני האקורדים האלה ואנסה לעשות איתם מה שאני, כל כוחותיי ייתנו לי, הרבה לא יצא מזה. אבל אני לא הוא. והוא עם השני האקורדים האלה מאלתר ורץ ומרחף על המוזיקה ומביא את כולם לעולמות עליונים. מצליח לצקת כל כך הרבה נשמה בפשטות המוזיקלית הזאת.
איך קוראים לך?
יהוויהו. אני רוצה להיקרא יהוויהו מצליח. ככה אני רוצה, על מנת שיהיה שפע טוב דרך השם.
So Mimi, I want this one to tell you. I bless you that all the people who are connected to your neshama, and I'm sure there are hundreds, thousands, bless you to have the courage to stop them. And just, hello. You see, the world always thinks when you stop someone, you have to have an excuse. Didn't I meet you somewhere? You look exactly like my sister's friend or something. Don't need any excuses. Talk straight. You know, my beautiful friends, there's a Zohar Kodesh, which is awesome. There are two questions you can ask another human being. What are you? And who are you? When you ask, what are you, you're destroying the world. You ask, who are you, you're rebuilding the world. I ask you, what are you? Are you white, are you green, are you Jewish, are you not? I ask, who are you? But here's a Zohar Kodesh says the deepest Torah in the world. When you ask God, what are you, he doesn't answer. When you ask God, who are you? Mi bora ele. Then the worship answers. Da di da da, da di da da, da di da da, da di da do, da di da da, da di da da. Da di da 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 da, di da da da, di da da da, di da da da, ay da da da, da di da da, da di da da, da di. Mama, sie bin gewalt, Harmonie.
מלך עיר מלוכו קומי צאי מתוך הפכו מקדש מלך